Hello, hello. Welcome to the Magic Show. Hello, everyone. Alright. So today is going to be a little bit different than normal, but I hope you all enjoy it anyway. So I'm going to be doing a Q&A today. So give me 1 second and I'll change over to my screen. Da-da. Hello, hello. I hope everyone's had a good day. I know that it's in the evening for some people, but it's still early morning for me. All right. So today I'm going to be doing a bit of a Q&A about VTubing. This will be from my own experience. Oh, thank you for the follow. And I'll be taking questions as well. So if there's anything that I haven't covered, you can feel free to ask me too. All right, so I'll give it a few more moments and then we can start from there. Thank you so much for the follow, everyone. If there are any follows or raids and things like that, I might be a little bit quiet when we're going through just so that we can get through, because obviously there's a bit going on. But yeah, now if you're not familiar with AnimeFest, what's happening is they're doing a fundraiser to help look after the con. Oh, thank you for all the follows, everyone. So you can use this command and you get all the details. Hopefully I did test the QR code. Hopefully it does work on your screen. But yeah, we'll see how we go. If there's any issues, let me know. Let me know if the audio is okay. Oh, I forgot to put my music on. 1 second. There we go. I thought it was a bit quiet in here. Can't have me just talking all the time. Need some music as well. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, let me go to the first screen. So some housekeeping. Please make sure to follow my chat rules. There are mods who will time you out if they need to, if you're being naughty. If you're familiar with me, you know that bad doves get in trouble because I'm a magician's assistant. So there'll be questions along the way. Feel free to ask. If I don't get to them straight away, please be patient, just in case. But I'll be. There'll probably be later on. There'll be some questions too that may already be answered for you. So I'll write them down if I see anything that I haven't included, and then when it's appropriate, I'll enter them there. But yes, hello. Like I said, follow, subs, all that sort of stuff may be thanked towards the end if it's a little bit busy, just because I only have a certain amount of time. And if you're late or if you miss anything, the VOD will be up. I'm also recording it as well, so I might put it up on YouTube maybe later. No worries, thank you. I'm glad you're here. Yes, sometimes I do play Jackbox. There's a whole bunch of games that I play. Alright, so let's continue. So a little bit about me. So I'm a magician's assistant VTuber. I've been streaming since December 2020, but I have streamed before then, but not much. I mostly just, I play Grey Blue Fantasy, so I was mostly just streaming my sparks for my friends. If you look on the right hand side, that's my original model. As you can see, it's a little bit less detailed than when I started with. Thank you for the sub! Oh gosh, my alert is behind things. Give me 1 second. I need to fix that. Where's my alert box? Let me just fix that. So there we go. That's in the right spot now. My design, so Jezebel, my character, has actually existed since 2011. It's a design I've had for a really long time, and she's very important to me, and that's one of the reasons why I use her as my model, because I know the character really well, and I know I have that really nice tie-in with her, so that makes it easier to understand her as a character. Oh, and yes, no worries. I thought it would be a bit easier just to give the QR code on screen. I tried putting it as a link, and it just kind of ended up all kind of gobbly. So I'm just gonna grab a drink. Give me 1 moment. So as a magician's assistant VTuber, I am part of a group called Magical Literature Club, which is it's just my friends and I. We're just a couple of indie VTubers. I'll put their links here because I can. These are the other two that are in my group. They're very good friends of mine, people I've known for quite a long time. Ren does a lot of really amazing art, and Zane plays a lot of games like me. It's a lot of fun. I'll explain a little bit about VTuber groups and things like that a little bit later as well. But there's a little bit more on the next screen. Haha! So, the reason I started VTubing was I liked streaming, and it was fun, but it was more fun being able to do it this way, because I can do more things. Like, for example, I can do magic tricks, like this. Do you want to see? So, when I commissioned my model, I made sure to include some things that were special to me. I actually have some other tricks that I want to get to eventually, but I still have to practice them. Yeah. And yes, you did catch the stream on time. Hello, welcome. With VTubing, I was like, okay, I want to play games, I want to interact with people, so I'll do it this way, and that's how I kind of ended up doing it. Plus, you know, I can always use more volunteers for my magic shows, practice, and also for, you know, just have fun and meet some new people. And yes, I am Australian. So if you have a look here, on the right-hand side, so the guy with the blonde hair, that's my boss. He's a big bumhead. But it's okay. I'll surpass him one day. But yes, I'm from Australia, so I tend to stream in the evenings my time, which tends to be early morning for America. And I mostly play video games. I do sometimes draw, and I have done karaoke streams, but they're few and far between at the moment. Okay. So, do you know what a VTuber is? They're short for virtual YouTuber, but it's a term that Kizna I, who's quite a big YouTuber, she used that term and then it got picked up. But really, it kind of just applies now to anyone who has a model like this, or they use like a PNG. It's not really restricted to just YouTube, as you can see, since I'm on Twitch. There's a lot of people on Twitch. You get a lot of really, really big YouTubers on Twitch as well. And you might hear other terms as sometimes too. So VStreamer, which is kind of an alternative to VTuber, because some people wanted to use that instead of VTuber just because it didn't quite fit with YouTube and they're not on YouTube, that sort of thing. VSinger tends to be used for people who do a lot of cover music, or they do a lot of original music, things like that. You might have seen, if you're aware of Hololive, they have a lot, their character Iris is a V-singer. And then PNG tuber, something might hit too. That's usually when someone doesn't have a full model yet, like what mine does where it moves around. They might just have a picture that they use. So that's a couple of terms you might see around. Sometimes the terminology that gets used is a little bit all over the place, so I thought it'd be good to include that just to kind of explain it. VTubing isn't always live content too. I know a VTuber that mostly does, they just re-record stuff, they play stuff with friends, and then they upload it to YouTube, just because they may not have the space to be able to record live, things like that. Have I been a guest at other online cons? This is my first time. Yes. So, I'm a little bit nervous, but hopefully I'm explaining things clearly. If I'm going too fast or anything like that, please do let me know as well. I tend to be a quick talker. I'm just gonna grab another drink. Yes, it's very exciting and scary. Oh, and if you're wondering, I normally have more redeems, but to kind of keep things from going too crazy, I changed some of the requirements for them, or I turned them off just to make things a little bit easier. In terms of in character, so usually I act in character as Jezebel, but some people don't do that. Some people just use it as a extension of themselves. That's fine too. It's just a preference thing. But yeah, and then there's also some VTubers that are specifically designed around companies. So there's Encore from Netflix, and I think there's another one for is it JAL? One of the airlines. There's a VTuber for one of the airlines. How expensive is a good VTuber model to commission? Well, it kind of depends. When you say good VTuber model, it depends on a few aspects, such as do you want it to be very, very detailed, like for example my one is? Do you want it to be full body, or do you want it to only be like half body? There's a couple different things around that, but I'll go into that a little bit more later, and I'll just make a note. Because it really does depend. It also depends on what you want to do. Like for example, for me, I wanted to have a lot of magic related stuff, so I had to pay extra so I could do the magic trick and things like when I drink, how it's got the special cup that's animated and things like that. So yeah, but I'll go into that a little bit more later, just because there's a section about that, and I'll talk to it about there. Okay. Now, just some terminology just to help people, because sometimes I'll use stuff and I'll forget that people don't know what it means. So you might hear debut a lot, which is kind of like a unofficial introduction stream. Not all VTubers have it, some don't even ever debut, they just start streaming and that's it, that's all they do. Some people put a lot of effort and money into their debut. It's just a personal preference again. Me personally, I did debut originally with my original model, but I rolled in the gacha and I played Genshin, and that was my original debut. And then re-debut is about the same, except usually in the context of a redesigned character, upgraded model, that sort of thing. So I did that too with this model. So on my birthday, I debuted this new model. I made like a video for it. I did like a whole thing, like I included lore and stuff like that. But again, not everyone does it. Some people just go for it, and that's fine too. Graduating is another term you might hear, which is when a VTuber is finishing up their activities. So they might have like a life thing, or they might not just not be for them, or it could be that maybe they've been picked up by a big company and they're originally an indie. It's usually when that person will stop posting on that Twitter, and they probably won't be coming back. I don't think I've seen anyone in particular who's come back, at least under the same name and brand. Yeah, like Coco from HoloLive. Recently, there was a big HoloLive VTuber that graduated. Something else you might hear sometimes is say-so or unsay-so. It's a term that gets used a lot in the indie space, talking about if someone is safe for work versus not safe for work. So, unsay-so basically means they're not safe for work. Which is, yeah, they might post not safe for work art, or their content might not be safe for work, that sort of thing. Where's my mouse gone? There it is. Mama and Papa is something you'll hear often too. That's usually the artist and the rigger that make the design. So for example, my Mama and Papa are Nightingale and Ding Ding, and their details are in my About section. So, it's the terms are interchangeable too, like they might have two mama, they might have two papa. It's just that it's kind of a cute little thing that gets included. And I think if say the artist does a lot, then you might have things like brothers and sisters as well. I see that sometimes too. So, a rigging or the rigger is the person who uses a program to do all of the animation stuff. So since this is just technically a picture, they're the one that does all of this. Which is very complicated, but I do want to try it myself one day. It looks like fun. VRM or Model 3, you might see these terms. They're used so VRM is used for 3D. So it's like I can't remember what the acronym is for off the top of my head, but it's for 3D models, and then Model 3 is usually for 2D models. It does change a little bit depending on which application you use, which I'll go into a bit as well. And then another thing you might hear is Oshi or Oshi mark, which is kind of like a way to identify someone as a fan. It's usually an emoji, sometimes there'll be like 2 emojis, and mine's a magic wand, which is what you can see on the screen. Now, 2D or 3D? There's a lot of options when it comes to VTubing, because you do have a lot of 2D options, you have a lot of 3D options. 2D is where it's a drawn illustration that's been cut up into lots of pieces so that each individual piece can be rigged. So that's what I'm doing. So you can see here, I included the texture map for my original model. You can see there's a couple of pieces. It's a little bit more simple. If you look at my current one, it's actually three different images because there's so much. But what happens is they then go in and animate each little bit to do different things. So like if I do this, you can see how like my hair moves, the roses move, all that's all done through that animation process. And there's lots of different programs you can use for Live 2D. So I'm using VTube Studio. A lot of people use this now because it's a really, really good application. The creator, Denchi, puts a lot of work into it. And I know that they're doing the beta for API stuff at the moment. So it's going to be really cool when it happens because there's a lot that'll be going on with that. They'll be able to do things like you'll be able to attach GIFs in the application and all that sort of fun stuff. FaceRig is another one. It's a little bit older. It's available on Steam. Actually, these are all available on Steam. They're all VTube Studio and PRPR Live are free. And then if you want to do, if you want to use webcam for VTube Studio, then you have to pay for like the pro version, which is I can't remember. I think it's like $15. I bought the pro version anyway. I'm actually using my iPhone as my webcam because the tracking on it's a lot better. We'll go into a little bit about the cost of that as well. But yeah, PRPR Live is another option. FaceRig is another option. When I started, I was using FaceRig, but I found the quality of it going into my OBS was not what I wanted it to be. So I ended up trying VTube Studio and it worked out a lot better. And because it's constantly being updated, whereas FaceRig's a little bit older in technology now, so I don't think it was originally planned for VTubing. They've added onto it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's up to date or that. But it's still, yeah, it's still that way. Alright, let's continue. Now, 3D. So 3D is a little bit different because of the way it's set up. So the modeling is done in 3D applications like Blender. There's a free one called V-Road Studio, which is also available on Steam. And it has a lot more tracking options in terms of hands and fingers. Obviously, like you can see that my hand's not coming up unless I use one of my predetermined actions. But what happens is with 3D, you can actually have that all tracked. And what happens is, if you see some of the, like if you look at like Vtubing, who's a really big 3D VTuber, they do like all sorts of crazy stuff. And they can have some really accurate tracking that way. So it kind of depends on what you want to do for it. The only problem with that is you do have to buy a lot more hardware because you have to have specific like hand tracking hardware. And like you can sometimes need like a bodysuit and things like that. And you can have a look here, and so this model that's on the screen was made by a friend of mine. Her name's Ichiroku. She made this in V-Road by herself, and then used that before changing to Live 2D at some point. So I'm gonna grab a drink, one moment. Nina, nod, please. But yeah, it's really a preference. Some people like 2D, some people like 3D. I'm actually looking at getting a 3D model at the moment, myself, because it looks like fun. There's so one of the applications I mentioned down here actually has some tracking, like some pretty decent hand tracking and things like that, without actually needing any hardware. Kaleido Face is quite fun. You can play around with it. It's quite new. At least the current iteration. But some other ones that I see are VC Face and Luppet. VC Face is the main one I see people using, but I'm not as familiar with 3D just because I always started with a Live 2D model. Maybe once I've had some play around with 3D, we'll see. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like there's different applications to it too. Like I know that a lot of people also use it for VR chat as well, and things like that. So yeah, again, it's just a preference. Do you want to do 2D? Do you want to do 3D? A lot of people have both if they're quite popular or they have lots of money. Like I know that a lot of people do commissions for 3D models done in Blender, because those are all custom and you know, they have all the commercial rights to them and things like that. So talking about kind of company VTubers, so big VTubers, so you'll probably have heard of HoloLive. If not, you may have seen their clips around. There's a lot of them, same with Nijisanji. Nijisanji and HoloLive are both based in Japan, but they have a lot of English streamers, a lot of English VTubers. They also have Indonesian VTubers. They have had Chinese VTubers as well. I think from memory, some of them have closed their brands in that area for various reasons. Oh, it's all Nishi. That's good. That's good. I'm glad I've got some useful info. VShojo is another big one. They have 8 members, but they're a US-based agency, and they pull some crazy numbers on Twitch. Like if you look at, say, like Iron Mouse, I think Iron Mouse usually gets like 3,000, 4,000 viewers per stream. It's kind of crazy. But they work very, very hard, and the thing is, the way agency VTuber groups versus indies work is a little bit different. But which I'll go into a little bit later as well. Some of the pros and cons about it. Where am I? Here we go. Streaming. So, VTubers tend to be on YouTube or Twitch. I have seen some other places where they stream, like Trovo. I know a couple people that go there. Again, it's kind of a preference thing. I ended up picking up Twitch myself because I liked the community aspect of Twitch. I like being able to raid people to kind of share my community around. Or if I get raided, then I can pass it on to someone else. Because I'm still quite a small VTuber. I've only just hit 600 followers yesterday, actually. So I'm still quite small. I'm still learning. There's still a lot to do. So it's nice to kind of share that around. And you can't really do that with YouTube. So that's one of the reasons why I personally picked it. But there are some perks to it being on YouTube, like some of the functions that are available. Camera shy, yeah, that's the other thing too. That's one of the reasons why I picked VTubing, because I like not having to make sure I'm presented a specific way. I'm always going to be presented as Jezebel. So it doesn't matter if I'm wearing like a ratty t-shirt that day, or if my hair is a mess because I fell asleep and woke up just before stream was supposed to start. Oh, and thank you for the congrats. What I think of the explosive growth of VTubers, it's simply perfect timing considering the ongoing pandemic, or do you see the future of streaming promotion for not individuals but maybe corporations as well? I mean, it's possible. I think that it was kind of a perfect storm, because I'm gonna grab a drink. 1 second. I think because so many people were indoors, and I remember seeing some crazy numbers about how Twitch's view time just exploded, and the same with YouTube. So people were obviously looking for things to do, right? And not just watching, but people were looking for things to do themselves. So they started doing VTubing themselves. Because it's fun, and you meet like a lot of interesting people. There's a lot going on, and there's always there's so many different ways to do VTubing that it's something that everyone can try and do. It's obviously not going to be perfect for everyone, and you might find that, okay, maybe I don't actually want to do it, but I definitely think VTubers are here to stay. They're definitely pulling some crazy numbers, like I was saying before with, say, like Iron Mouse. But yeah, there's a lot going on with it. And yeah, it does help people build up courage to face the camera. Me doing this with my actual face would be kind of more terrifying, just having so many people. Because when you think about it, even if it's, say, even if you only have 5 people watching, right? You have 5 people, and if you picture it in real life, you have 5 people staring at you. that you may have never met, who knows. And then when you scale that up to like 10 people or 30 people or 3,000 people, it's kind of terrifying. So it does help a little bit with that. So at least for me. Which is kind of where like streaming with VTubing instead of a face cam is, I mean, there's some pros and cons. The other big thing is privacy and anonymity. So you can hear my voice and you can see my VTuber, but you probably wouldn't recognize me on the street. So I don't have to worry about, I know that I've seen some YouTubers get stalked, like people have broken into their houses, or they get harassed on the street, things like that. That's probably less of a concern for me because of the fact that all you have is my voice. Like with the voice actors, you can go to the store without people bothering you. Yeah, exactly. That's it exactly. It's a little bit safer, and also you can tailor your stream to very specific things like your VTuber, like how I can do magic tricks and things like that. Whereas there are some downsides to it. So good quality models are expensive because it requires a lot of work. Like my design, I actually, like I was saying earlier, I have a lot of special inbuilt things. Like I can do stuff like, for example, I have a second outfit. So this is another outfit that I have. I have like magic tricks that I can do. And then also I've got things like I can summon my birds. And I have like extra things like different expressions. So all of this costs money, and just depends on how detailed you want it to be. So, so as a result, it can be more expensive. It also, yeah, it depends on what style you want. So I went with a group that has like a bunch of different artists with them, and they have a bunch of different riggers. So they kind of have packages and things like that sometimes. And let's see. Sorry, I'm just trying to check the chat as well. Yes, yeah. Look, the stuff with cam is hard. You kind of just have to pretend there's no one there. Is usually the easiest way to do it. Also, it's always recommended to turn off your view account because if you don't know how many people are there, it doesn't stress you out as much. I mean, you'll see people talking in chat maybe and things like that, but still, like, I don't know how many people are here right now, and that's fine. I'm fine with not knowing. I'll get a notification later and I can worry about it then. The other downside with VTubing is, so for example, if you do 3D, then you have to buy all the hardware for it. Or for me, because I'm using an iPhone, I normally have an iPhone anyway, so that was kind of a expected cost, I guess. But for anyone who doesn't have an iPhone, they might have to buy a webcam, and the tracking may not be as good, or you might have to buy an iPhone if you want the really, really good tracking, that sort of thing. And obviously, because you're running extra programs, it can be a bit of a workload on your computer. So, because you run VTube Studio, for example, for me, but then I might also be playing like Doom, and that's a very graphic heavy game, so you might have to put lower graphics. You might have to, you know, depending on how strong your computer is, you might have to make sacrifices in some areas. Or you can buy a very expensive computer or build a very expensive computer like I did. And hopefully it won't be as much of a problem, but again, that's another money aspect to it. Some other important things to consider: streaming is really hard work. You do have to engage the whole time, and multitasking is very difficult. I may sound pretty good at it, but again, I've been streaming for 8 months, so I've had a lot more practice. And even then, I still struggle with like checking comments, or if I'm playing a game. Like if I'm playing Doom, I'm very bad at checking chat because I'm trying to blow up demons and not die. But it's a lot of hard work. You have to be on, basically. You have to be in on mode. Yes, using a separate computer is another option that some people do, but I just use the one computer. I built my computer from scratch. I was quite lucky and I got a 3070 early in the year before things got too crazy. And I'm glad I do, because my old computer was a bit more on the chunky side. Yes, and not dying. Yes, doing that and not dying, and also talking to chat, and also like managing things if your mods aren't there. It's a whole thing. There's a lot going on all at the same time. Oh, and my Nightbot is posting. I have a mod that posts links and things like that. I'm just gonna grab another drink. Yes, I normally play Doom on Saturdays at the moment, actually. I didn't play I didn't play yesterday. Saturday my time, because it's Sunday here. But I normally play Doom on Saturdays at the moment. And, it's fun. I love Doom. Doom is fun. I finished the first game, and then I started playing Eternal, so. With how expensive the intro pricing can be with the complexity of models and rigging, how widespread popular is the use of less complex models? Say a crab. A crab, you say? For those who don't know, there was a crab VTuber that made the very bad decision to say, I will farm this many things in this game, and then one of the main like producers in the game, sorry, the director in the game retweeted that. They had to farm for like 5 days straight. Thank you for all the new followers. Just so you know, I am keeping the thanks more towards the end, just because there's a lot of people and things like that. I'm trying to keep things going because I've only got a certain amount of time. But yeah, no, there's all sorts of VTubers. Like, I've seen a sentient lamb. I've seen, there's like a gorilla. What's some other ones I've seen? I've seen like lots of zombies. I've seen lots of gods and goddesses. I've seen people that have like 2 models, like they have 2 different characters that they play with the whole time. Like, you can, the thing with VTubing is you can literally do whatever you want, basically. So, have I played Animal Crossing? Yes, I have, but not on stream. I played it when it came out, and then I haven't played it in a while. I'm not looking forward to all the weeds that I have to collect. Lots of furries, yes. One of the really good things about VTubing as well is, especially for, say, like the trans community, people can present however they like, and it gives them that opportunity to kind of, you know, test things out for themselves in various ways. You can be so unique and interesting and different with whatever you want. It's a lot of fun. You really have, like, the sky is the limit. Swarm of turtles sounds like a really fun model. That sounds a little bit scary, honestly. A swarm of turtles? Maybe like a school of turtles. Other things to consider with VTubing is time management. Not just streaming, because if you're in an agency, then a lot of that stuff is done for you. So, I know that things like licensing for certain games and organizing collabs and, you know, going through rules and stuff, a lot of that is handled by the agency. But if you're an indie, you basically have to do everything yourself. So editing videos, social media, organizing collabs, interacting with people, sleeping. A lot of it is, yeah, a lot of it is a lot by yourself. So it's, especially like for myself, because I do work full time, which is why I can only stream for a couple hours, a couple times a week, because I just don't have the capability to do full-time streaming and also everything else. Like, if you look at my YouTube channel, which is kind of empty and still only has my old model, I haven't uploaded any videos there very much, except for ones that are several months old, because I'm slowly still going through them. Oops, let me look out of this so I don't break things. Yeah, there's a lot of work that you may not necessarily see, but it does result in a lot of extra work that, yeah, you can't see, but it has to be there for the sake of getting it done. For my YouTube, it should be on my links on my channel. I'm pretty sure I linked it. I don't have the link off the top of my head because I don't link my YouTube that much. I'm trying to use it more, but again, finding time to do stuff can be kind of a nightmare. Social media is also very important to keep up with, so having time to do all that, like I have Twitter, I have TikTok, I have Instagram. My Instagram is basically non-existent at this point because I just don't have time. I kind of decided on what ones to focus on. So I use TikTok quite a bit now because it's fun making silly videos, especially when I can't stream. Or Twitter, which is easy because you can use Twitter anywhere. You don't really have to prep anything. You can see what's happening in the VTuber space, or you can like talk to followers and things like that, or other VTubers. But yeah, there's a lot to do, and it can be a little bit overwhelming at times. Networking is another thing, so talking to other VTubers or other streamers. And one thing to keep in mind is, even if you're a VTuber, you don't have to only interact with other VTubers. Like, you could just interact with whoever. It doesn't really matter. They could have a face cam, they could have no cam. Doesn't matter. Who cares? It's still people that you can talk to. But, organizing stuff like that, though, tiring. It's a lot of effort. You kind of have to organize schedules. If you're not in the same time zone, it can be a bit of a nightmare. I did a collab that required me to get up at like 6 a.m. because all their time was in American time, and it was 6 a.m. for me. But it was fun. Yeah, it's you have to consider all this sort of stuff too. And socializing as well takes up a lot of time. Time zones are an absolute nightmare. Yes they are. I got up at 7 a.m. today. I normally don't get up till like 9 a.m. on a weekend. And that was when I started for me, so yeah, time zones are a bit of a nightmare, but it is what it is. You make it work. So another important thing, and this is very, very important, be mindful if you are going to VTube or just stream in general. Be mindful of setting boundaries. You may have heard the term parasocial relationships, which is basically a one-sided relationship that can be quite harmful, and you might see people say, oh, well, this is my person, you're not allowed to do this, that, or that, or they can do things like love bomb. I go into it a little bit more later on as well, but just be mindful that if people are making you uncomfortable, don't be afraid to block them, don't be afraid to time them out. You may have seen someone got banned in my stream just before because they were being rude and they weren't following my rules. Too bad, so sad for them. They miss out on all the fun stuff that I do here. But, yeah, in general, don't be afraid to do things like time people out, give people warnings, block them. You're here to have fun, and it makes both you and your chat uncomfortable. Easy enough, get rid of them. You don't owe them anything. Exactly. Boundaries are absolutely important, not just in streaming, but in life. 100% agreed. But some people don't remember that. So, yeah, just be mindful of it. It is it can be very stressful, and also, like, you don't want to not lead people on, but you don't also want to set certain expectations, which then makes it more uncomfortable for you in the future. And speaking of being comfortable, your health is also very important when it comes to streaming. Something I see sometimes, and me personally, I could never do that, I think, is I see things like 24-hour streams, or like week-long streams and things like that. And you need to take breaks. You need to have rest, you need to have food, you need to exercise. If you think about it, if you're sitting here for 12 hours, then you're gonna get, very hungry. You need hydration. As you can see, I've been drinking lots of water. I have nearly finished my water bottle. Hopefully I won't run out, but there's a lot. You have to be very careful to make sure that your health is looked after. So, it may look like it's worth it, like you might get lots and lots of viewers or followers from doing a 24-hour stream, but there is a sacrifice to your own health as a result, so do be careful of that. Something very important, and I've seen this a few times now, don't be a pain pecker. Exactly, yes, 100%. Something that's very important, and I've seen this a few times, please don't do this. Being creative is difficult, but don't copy another character. Especially like, don't copy a character from like Sailor Moon or, Dragon Ball Z, where you take all the characters' designs except for like their hair color and then you make that into a VTuber model. One, people will know. Someone will know even if it's like not a super popular series, someone will know, and you'll probably get in trouble for it. And if you're very unlucky, you could get fines, you could get, you know, takedowns. Say you spend $3,000 on a model. So you take, like, say I was Hatsune Miku. I make this joke all the time that I'm actually Hatsune Miku. I did a whole thing for April Fools where I made everything green. If I was actually Hatsune Miku, then that would be a problem, right? Because that's a company-owned character. So be careful with that. Like, there are people that do design work for you. Thank you, Alpha. Just, yeah, be mindful of that. Another thing is, like I was talking about before, agency VTubers, so like Hololive, Nijisanji, like big groups like that, or even smaller groups, but actual like agency groups, have way different access to resources that we do as indies. Like, we're never going to be able to, like, very easily go and talk to, say, Delightworks if you played, like, Fate Grand Order, to ask them to play Fate Grand Order on a stream, for example. And you also don't have the same sort of pull. Like, Hololive, they debuted a new VTuber, Iris. Iris gained 200,000 plus followers in, like, 5 minutes. That's just the nature of the agency where they've got that build of people beforehand. So, thank you. Oh gosh, I better hurry up then. But yeah, and building a happy community is far more important than just numbers. You can have 3,000 people following, but if all those people make you uncomfortable and rude to you, then it's not really that fun, you know? Okay. I will hurry up because I realize I've been talking a lot. How to get started. Don't be afraid to start streaming early. You can just do practice runs. Yes, it did go by fast, so I was worried I wouldn't have enough time. Don't be afraid to start streaming early. I started just day one and just went for it. You can practice. It's a good way to learn. You should also look at what resources you already have to begin with. If you're doing VTubing, hashtag free VTuber assets and VTuber assets on Twitch. On Twitter have a whole bunch of different things that you can use. Overlays, assets. So like, if you look at my screen, you've got like the tarts and stuff. You can put those there. Like you can do all sorts of fun stuff with it. So don't think you have to pay for everything, but be respectful. So if someone asks for credit, make sure to give them credit. If you're using stuff, make sure that you're not, you know, just going against what they've asked for. How to get started, again, diversifying your social media, so Twitter, Discord, TikTok, all those. Very good, very helpful to help learn how to use social media if you're not too familiar with it. But yeah, just be mindful that it can be a little bit overwhelming, so take your time with it. Another thing, look at other VTubers and streamers. You might see something that they do that you go, oh, I could do something like that, and you can kind of get inspiration, but don't just copy them. If they have like a very specific thing that's very unique to them, obviously you don't want to be using that yourself. I'm going to quickly grab some water, and then I'm going to quickly run through the rest of these. Debuting is common, but again, like I mentioned before, it's not mandatory. It's up to you if you want to do it, but again. Never such a thing as a perfect first episode. Exactly, yes, 100%. And look for other VTuber communities to join. They can be really helpful for resourcing as well. I've got some links I'll post soon after this. Quick. You don't need a lot of money. My first model was only about $300, and then this one was a lot more expensive, but like I said, you can start with PNGs and things like that. And yeah, there's a lot of people you can meet along the way. Again, with the whole mental health and health in general, be careful to not burn yourself out. Take your time with it. Don't get overwhelmed. Just, yeah, do your best. It can be hard, but try and yeah. Be careful with it, because, yeah, it's a lot. Networking is also really important, but do remember that you do generally want your community to mostly be non-streamers, because streamers are going to be busy with their own streams as well. If you only have streamers as your followers, then you're never going to be able to get a lot of views, which is fine if you don't care about that, but it's just something to keep in mind. And again, if you're indie, you'll be doing everything yourself, so just be mindful of that. Breaks and rests are important. I'm going to reiterate that again. Breaks and rests are important. Be good doves. How you be a VTuber is up to you. Be careful with sharing private information. It's the internet. People can do all sorts of silly things. Just so you know. And something you might see often is follow for follow. It doesn't really help you grow, so just don't be pressured into doing it if you don't feel like it. But it's not a necessary thing. Like it's organic growth is always going to be better for you. Let me post these 2 links. So there's these 2 Discords. They're mostly for live 2D, but you can use them. Make sure you read the FAQ and rules before posting. It's very important that you look after these people. Both these groups are very helpful. They do a lot of things for us. So be mindful of them. VTube Studio is, again, the application that I use for my VTubing. So you can find out lots of stuff there. But yeah, just be careful with that. Now, what if you just want to support VTubers? What if you don't want to stream? Here are some things that you can do to help support your VTubers. Money is not really a thing you have to do. Following them, watching their streams, sharing videos or clips of them, talking about them to friends, anything that helps people see them is going to be way more helpful, and you don't have to feel obligated to give them money and things like that. Like, you don't have to do that. There's other ways, and if I get people sharing a whole bunch of clips, then I get more people following me, which means I get to interact with more people. Donations are really helpful, and obviously it's very expensive, but as a hobby or streaming in general, but $10 is going to help. But if I have like 10 people watching me, then that helps me too, because I get to better myself with streaming and things like that. Simping is optional, yes. And what not to do. Don't mention people in other streams. So please don't go to another stream. Obviously we're going back to Anime Dallas after this, but if we were to say go to like a friend stream, don't mention them unless they've asked for it. Don't harass streamers on their behalf, like other streamers on their behalf. I don't want you going off and saying, oh, well, this person's better than you, or you're copying this person, blah, blah, blah. Like, that stuff is just, yeah, it's common sense, but, you know, it's important to say. Another thing, what not to do, do not harass and do not love bomb. Don't make your streamer uncomfortable. Ah, yes, the doves, they shall go to bed. Give me one moment. Dun. And another important thing is don't ignore their wishes or boundaries. Streamers don't owe you anything, and it's nice to talk to people, but you do have to keep in mind that they are people too. Even if I'm hidden behind a cute 2D anime girl, yeah, you still have to be, you know, mindful of that. And that's it. We made it just in time, I think. Sorry I had to rush through those a little bit. You are welcome to let me post some things. Anime Dallas. If you don't forget that if you want to, there's all the links to help support AnimeFest, and I'm gonna do a magic trick. One moment. But yeah, if you can, do give them a support. We're gonna raid them soon. Thank you everyone for coming. I hope you enjoyed me rambling for an hour. I can't believe it's been an hour. But yeah, these are just things that I've learned through my streaming. Obviously, they may not always apply to you, or they may be, you know, a little bit different here and there, but I hope that it helps. Ah, hello, thank you. Hi Ari, hi Pocky, and hello little Chris. But yeah, I hope you all had fun. I hope you all, thank you everyone who followed. I really appreciate the support. I will be streaming tomorrow. I'll play Will Genshin tomorrow, and then on the weekend I'll be streaming more Doom. But yeah, that's it from me pretty much. Now, because we have people here, and because we're gonna go raid Anime Dallas, let's use the raid message that I have. So, if you're here and if you still have some channel points, for 100 channel points you can unlock one of my emotes. So I recommend unlocking my dove emote, and we can spam this when we go back to Anime Dallas. It'll look like this. If you don't have it, that's fine. Or if you don't have any channel points left, that's okay too. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming. I'll just double check to make sure we're ready to go back. Is there anything else anyone wants to quickly ask before I send you all on to the next panel? Ah, yes, doves, they shall come back. We'll say goodbye. Oh, hydrate, yes, thank you. I shall do that too. Thank you, thank you. All right. All right, I'm gonna go to my goodbye screen then. Let me find it. I can't see, where am I? There we go. All right, and then let's get ready to raid. Like I said, if you have the emote, please be sure to spam it. And yeah. Alright. Thank you everyone for coming. I'll see you all hopefully next time. Alright, 3, 2, 1, go!